Hi, my name is Amber, and this is my November wrap-up. As you can probably hear, I am sick, apparently. This kind of hit me out of nowhere, so my voice is a little strange, but I'm going to try to make it through this video. Now this month, I still have been sticking with trying not to buy that many books, and I believe I did really well. Since I only got a couple of books this month, I'm gonna just combine both my haul and my wrap-up into one video and kind of just talk about the books that I got as I'm talking about reading them, because I did read both of them this month. So the first book that I got this month was Renegades by Marissa Meyer. I had actually originally pre-ordered this months back because she was stopping somewhere near me on her tour for this book, and I really wanted to go meet her and get these signed, and I was able to. I do have a vlog up of the entire event. I am so happy that I got this month, and I did dive into it as soon as I picked it up. In a world full of superpowers, some people don't have any, and a lot of people have these powers and abilities, and there are groups in the world that have taken it upon themselves to try and kind of decide what's right for people who have abilities and who don't, and what the rules are like. Laws are different because of the fact that there are superheroes. There's not really police anymore. The Renegades are supposed to be the good guys. They're the lawmakers, the protectors. They're the big superheroes that are super famous. Then there's the anarchists, which aren't necessarily the bad guys, but are kind of more looked at as the negative side. Our main character Nova is part of the anarchist, and we're also following Adrian, who is part of the Renegades. Because of events, these two characters end up meeting, and it kind of starts making them think differently about each side of how this world works and how these abilities work. And it's a really interesting story. It's a really fun story, and I loved it so much. It's definitely long. It felt a little long sometimes, but overall I still really enjoyed the story. I loved every second of it. I thought it was a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed these characters so much, and I will rave and rant about the fact that Adrian wears glasses for the rest of my life. That is just one thing that automatically had me loving this book, because you don't see main characters with glasses very often, and I love the fact that he has some, but I ended up giving this 5 stars. The second book that I got this month was Warcross by Marie Lu. I randomly went through my shelves and grabbed a bunch of books that I just didn't want to keep any longer. After selling that, I used the money and actually ended up picking up Warcross because this is just one that's been on my list for a while. I've only read Legend by Marie Lu. I never even finished that trilogy, though I would like to, but this one definitely piqued my interest. It just, everybody was comparing it to Ready Player One and saying that it's very video game focused, and I just jumped on it and thought that sounded amazing. Every time that I picked it up, I was just sucked into the story and wanted to keep reading. I love the idea of Warcross, and I love the idea of the Neuralink, and I think it's such an interesting concept and such an interesting way to see it worked into this world. I am a huge fan of Ready Player One, and I love that book so much. I cannot wait for the movie. Definitely see the similarities in this, but it also still stands on its own as a completely different story. It is very different from Ready Player One. There are just some similarities throughout the story. The main character, Emika, I hope I'm saying her name right, is just an absolutely incredibly strong and independent character that I loved reading about. I really love her personality. Warcross is basically the video game of this. If you've read Ready Player One, you'll kind of understand the concept of this a little bit more, but the Neuralink is the pair of glasses that you wear that kind of just puts you into this virtual reality, and Warcross is the game that was created by the creator just as a fun thing to add into it. Then it became a huge deal. The Neuralink is used for a million other things in the world, as well as Warcross being this huge event where there are championships and huge tournaments, and it has become this really important, huge thing in this world that is broadcasted everywhere. It's a lot of fun. It's a really interesting situation. I really loved learning about Warcross rules and seeing how it played out. I loved learning more about the Neuralink. I absolutely love all the characters in this so much, so I ended up giving this 5 stars as well. The next book that I read this month was The Broken World by Lindsay Klingel. This is the sequel and final in the duology for The Marked Girl. I read The Marked Girl last year and really enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun, and it was a really kind of light fantasy that was just extremely entertaining. So I was really excited to get into the sequel and see what happens next. I was a little let down. I still thought it was entertaining. I thought it was a good way to kind of wrap up everything. It was nice being able to see these characters again, but it didn't have the same feel as the first one, but I ended up actually giving this 3 stars. Next is a little bit complicated. I talked about this in my TBR video for November, that I was going to start the Grisha Trilogy as part of a buddy read on Instagram. I did that. I got through books 1 and 2 really quickly. I actually read them a lot faster than I thought I would because I loved these so much. They were so much fun. I can definitely see why everybody loves this series so much and loves Leigh Bardugo's writing and her characters. I definitely see that. I ended up really loving the second one a lot more than I did the first one. I think that honestly has everything to do with Nikolai. I ended up giving both of these 5 stars easily. So that's all the books that I read in the month of November. Let me know if you read any of these down below. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys next time.